Professionals today face a tightening double bind. Clients expect nearly instant results, yet regulators and insurance carriers demand more rigorous, exhaustive documentation than ever before. Maintaining speed often requires sacrificing the very detail that prevents a lawsuit. In response, many firms have turned to a convenient but dangerous solution, utilizing public cloud models like ChatGPT or Claude to draft reports and analyze client files. This creates a massive legal liability. Inputting sensitive property data or financial records into a public interface violates professional secrecy laws, including GDPR and Germany's Section 203 of the Criminal Code. Standard web interfaces are designed to absorb this information. The moment you hit enter, your client's private data leaves your jurisdiction and enters a global training pool, triggering immediate violations of professional standards. This exposure jeopardizes the firm's errors and omissions insurance. If a data breach occurs or a report contains non-compliant advice, carriers can deny coverage based on the use of unencrypted third-party platforms. To survive, firms must transition from manual data entry to a sovereign AI architecture. A sovereign architecture is a closed-loop system. It provides the high-speed processing of machine learning while physically and logically blocking all internal data from reaching public networks. Adopting AI is no longer optional for firms that want to scale, but that efficiency is only viable if the firm retains 100% of its data sovereignty. The foundational rule of this new architecture is simple. Client data can never feed a public model. This requires a policy of zero data retention. Building this layer requires choosing one of two secure hosting environments. The first is on-premises hardware. The firm installs its own servers, equipped with powerful graphics processors, directly in its own office, ensuring absolute physical control over the data stack. The second is a private cloud tenant. This utilizes an isolated server environment in a certified local data center, where data remains protected by regional laws rather than global corporate terms. In this environment, client data never leaves this perimeter. Information moves between your devices and the secure server, but it is physically prevented from flowing out into the open internet. Within this secure infrastructure, the firm runs highly capable open-source models. Unlike proprietary systems that hide their code, open-source models like Llama 3 or Mistral can be installed and operated entirely within this isolated zone. Because you own the code and the server, there is no hidden telemetry routing your findings back to a technology giant. By securing the infrastructure layer first, the firm satisfies the core requirements of GDPR and professional secrecy laws before a single document is even analyzed. Securing the hardware solves the privacy problem, but it doesn't solve the problem of AI hallucinations, where a model invents facts or uses legally dangerous language, like claiming a defect violates building code. To prevent this, the system employs system prompts. These are rigid, permanent legal instructions programmed into the AI's core persona. These prompts act as a semantic filter, forcing the model to stick to objective, observable facts, while stripping away speculative or non-compliant terminology. When raw field notes flow into the system, the logic layer analyzes the vocabulary. Speculative phrases, or words like illegal, hit this filter and are violently rejected. Only objective, neutral findings pass through to the report. This layer is further refined by state prompt multipliers, which calibrate the model's logic based on regional regulations. If you're inspecting in Texas, the system shifts its logic to match the strict TRE 76 layout. Your observations snap into the exact boxes required by law. Every report then undergoes an automated pre-delivery audit. The AI scans the draft against mandatory checklists to ensure that critical exclusions, like an inaccessible crawl space or a specific electrical grounding issue, have been explicitly documented. The compliance layer anchors the model's processing power to a specific legal framework, creating a rigorous liability buffer that protects the firm's insurance coverage. The greatest operational challenge is the time spent translating technical field findings into clear, consumer-friendly reports. To solve this, the sovereign system uses voice-to-text semantic scribes. Instead of traditional dictation, which often fails with technical jargon, the semantic scribe parses raw conversational audio. It restructures messy field observations into formal, component-based reporting terminology without the inspector needing to touch a keyboard. The system also ingests aerial data, High-resolution drones scan inaccessible or dangerous roof structures, feeding orbital imagery directly into the analytical loop. This data is processed through automated defect recognition, or ADR. The ADR model analyzes site photographs as structured pixel matrices. It isolates visual anomalies by cross-referencing pixel data against millions of historical building failures. When it identifies a structural anomaly, like a lateral displacement in a foundation, the system maps the exact coordinates and tags the defect with mathematical precision. This analysis extends to infrared data. By parsing thermal telemetry, the AI can differentiate between a uniform pattern of missing insulation and the dynamic irregular pattern that indicates active water intrusion. Multimodal ingestion allows a firm to categorize and document technical failures at scale, maintaining total focus in the field while the system handles the heavy lifting of data organization. Using AI creates a risk of organizational fault. If a firm relies blindly on an automated output that turns out to be incorrect, the certified professional remains liable for that failure. While AI can process data and draft narratives, it cannot absorb the legal authority of the inspector. Managing this risk requires a new operational role, the AI manager. The AI manager isn't a coder, they are a domain expert who understands both the local standards of practice and how to refine the model's instructions to meet them. This manager enforces the mandatory 4 eyes principle. No AI-generated narrative or defect tag is allowed to leave the firm without a human expert verifying the findings against their own observations. This human safeguard ensures the certified professional remains the final signatory, retaining the speed of the AI while eliminating the risk of automated errors. When these 4 layers are fully integrated, they function as a single frictionless engine. This engine links directly to business software via automation platforms. If the AI identifies a technical finding, like high moisture levels in a crawlspace, it can instantly trigger administrative follow-ups for mold testing or specialized repairs, turning field data into an automated business pipeline. The result is a dramatic increase in efficiency. Hours of office-bound reporting are eliminated, complex technical failures become clear summaries, and administrative overhead drops to zero. The competitive moat for a modern professional firm rests on the sovereignty of its architecture. Speed is the byproduct of a secure, defensible foundation.